Roy, and we're just going to take a minute here till some of the attendees hop on board here with the LinkedIn Live this morning. And of course, we are going to be talking today about, are you a leader or are you an accountant? And it's a topic that is near and dear to me. But we're going to wait for some more folks to come on board here and till we get going and get into some of the meat of this conversation. Okay. Radio silence is radio silence. It will take a time for those to appear that appear. So, who am I? Well, I'm Paul Roy, a business owner for 35 years of my life. I've been business coaching and business consulting for the last 6-7 years. And I, work with accountants and accounting firms. And I also specialize in working with contractors, whether it's electrical firms, plumbing firms, general contractors. And I also run a business called Business Roundtable, which puts groups of business owners together who help each other solve their problems and sort things out. So really today, what is the importance of having the conversation about, why you are a leader or are you an accountant? And in quite simple terms, accounting is pretty much a left brain function. We're dealing with math, we're dealing with logic, linear thinking, and sequential. And those are all left brain functions. And right brain functions, of course, are creative, intuitive, and emotional. So having a balance of both is really quite important to being an owner or operator of an accounting firm. So the part that is important to this is, how do we enter in having some of our right brain preferences move into our left brain logical thinking way of doing this? And so really, what it boils down to, what is a leader? And just because you may own your accounting practice or own your business, it doesn't mean that you are a leader. Authority has nothing to do with leader. People may do things for you because it's in their job description, they report to you, but it doesn't mean that they may like you or will want to follow you and jump off the cliff with you. So those are the things that are really quite important to us as leaders in our businesses. And it's really important that we do these things to engage our employees and we engage with our clients. And one thing I always like to do especially when I'm working with accounting firms, is that, when you are dealing or figuring out what is it that your clients like about you, is often the same thing about what your employees think or like about you. So keep that in mind, that, what is the purpose of your business? And does that purpose of your business in relation to your clients revert also to having you and how you communicate with your staff? So I want to, take you back a little bit to, memory lane here. And I want you to take a minute and think about what, before you owned your accounting practice, or a partner in the practice, who was your favorite boss and why? And what qualities did they admire? Take a moment and just jot some of those things down. And if you want, drop them in the chat box, see what's there. I'm on an attached platform here, adverse to being directly on the LinkedIn Live, but it's coming up that way. And that, what qualities were there? And why did you like that individual? So when get engaged in that process, oh, do I possess those qualities? Do I have that takes that I looked up to? So those are very, very critical things when you uh, become introspective and look back at yourself for how you lead and operate within your staff. So, those are critical things. And, what are some of the things that they did? Were they, for example, um, you know, communicators? Because we're talking here about soft skills. So, soft skills of a leader are strong communicators. They're non threatening. And what does non threatening mean? It means that you are able to get your staff and your employees um, to actually trust you and share with you without feeling that they feel insecure because they may have to come to you to ask a question. But when it's non threatening, and here we go from Gazam, my boss gives opportunities to grow up and helps them to learn new accounting skills. Exactly. So, with respect to that, those are things that when your employees trust you, they will do an extra for you. But if it's a job, if we go back to being left brained and that it's, accounting is about math and functions, just go do your job and get it done for the client, doesn't cut it. They know that's a part of their job. You don't need to remind them of it. But having that opportunity to have that conversation with them about what is it that makes them who they are and what part they like about their job. And here, if we look at the other part of this, the empowering piece, and that really, the empowering piece, um, the important part of empowering your people is that is also part of the trust building exercise. So if you empower them to take control of an aspect of the job or what they're doing, they take ownership of it. And the other benefit that happens with that is that you don't need to micromanage them and you permit them to make mistakes. Unless the best lessons are learned from mistakes. But in the accounting world, this is why, whether it's a junior accountant that moves it up to a senior accountant or partner to sign off on a project, that's why we have systems and extra areas to do there. But that's really important about empowering your people to embrace their role. And they may not always have the skill set, but if they have the attitude, that is what will work for them. So the empowering piece is extremely critical to this. And the other thing is that with good leaders, they want you to succeed. And because if you succeed, everybody succeeds. And having somebody in the office who is really able to do these things and succeed and to elevate within their own job or within the firm, that's perfect because that's what you want to do. You want to grow leaders. When I look back at some of went on in my previous life, and I had about 10 years that I worked outside of being an independent business owner, and you'd get into situations where I actually felt that I knew more than my boss, and I had more abilities and talents than my boss. And the ones who felt threatened by my abilities, I struggled with, and they would suppress me. But the ones who appreciated the bosses or the leaders, partners who appreciated my abilities, thanked me because they knew that I was taking work off their plate. So if we look at this scenario, and how many of you have had this happen to you, whereby, you've got a leader and you go, well, you know what, I've got an open door policy. Come and ask me a question anytime. And it takes fortitude to be able to do that because If you are a leader who's spending a lot of time on client files, they're interrupting you to get the fast answer. The question being is, if you advise them where to find that answer and how to get that answer, they will remember that answer and use it for a long time to come. And the other thing that we need to remember as leaders, whether it's in business or an accounting firm is a business, or in your accounting firm, is that, oh my God, I'll just do it anyway. Just give it to me, I'll do it. So let's say that you've got, a bookkeeper or a junior accountant in your firm who bills out at $80 or $100 an hour, but you bill out your time at $200 an hour. So by your not educating or helping your employee to do that work, you end up doing $100 an hour work when your time is actually worth to the firm 200, 250, whatever it be that your billing is. So we need to remember that is to pull it back and go, if I'm taking too much time doing the work for their employees, you're not leading them. You're giving them the out of not having to learn it and not having to do it. So, what are some of the strategies that you can use to get people engaged in participating within the team in the group outside of your having an open door policy? And the thing to remember is if you do have an open door policy, that means that you need to be working on your firm and less in your firm. Now, whether you're a 3-person firm and yes, your hands are all over working on client files, that's it. But as your firm grows to 1, 2, or 3 partners, 4 partners and on, who is the managing partner? Who is the one that oversees the HR? Who's the one that oversees the training, etc.? And a portion of your time needs to move toward working on what makes the accounting business better. And what I want to do right now is take a little break and encourage those to remain on until the end, because I'm going to have a special offer to attendees who remain on to be able to do an assessment of the leaders in your firm at no charge. In other words, we set you up, you'll be able to come in and we do an assessment on your, and we don't like to use the term profile. We use the term preferences. In other words, these are my decision-making processes. This is how I handle stress. This is how I interact with other people. If the building catches fire, do I run for the exit or am I helping other people get out of the building? And these are things that we want to know about ourselves. We may think we do, and what we may think we know about our employees and our staff. But for that, what is that we would then take that profile and we put it to get all those profiles and we put them together, and then we actually have a profile of the firm. Which are you or one of your one of your employees entrepreneurial, or are you very private and guarded? And knowing those things allows us to put these people in the right seats to make the firm grow to good and praise. So remain on to the end. I'll ask you to put your name in the chat box, and we'll pick 1 or 2 individuals, and can't be just one person. It must be a business that has 2 or more people, and we'll set up a meeting with me. And again, this is a no fee opportunity, no fee, to be able to do that assessment on your firm. So what other soft skills are important? We went back and we talked about they're communicators, they're non-threatening, they're always building trust, they're empowering, and they want you to succeed. What other traits? Drop them in the chat box. Do you feel good leaders have? Oh, we've got a quiet group here today. What about Empathy, because empathy can be a broad and wide meaning. But empathy means that we understand what the person's challenges may be. For example, if you have elderly parents at home and they need you from time to time and you have to run to help, well, the health and well-being of our team members is important, but you allow them to do that. But on the other hand, there has to be boundaries in terms of when and how does this time come back? What do you do um, with that and do that? I've got a question here which tell us more about what senior accountant responsibilities. Oh goodness, that is a good one. The I'm going to jump in and I'm going to answer that one right away. Is that with senior accountants' responsibilities are that they are the clearinghouse for whether if you have a firm that does bookkeeping, does accounting and tax returns, is that that's where it goes, that CPA, senior accountant, signs off on the documents. So in other words, they have the credentials to be able to do it. They are the last set of eyes before an audit goes to the client, whether a tax return, corporate or personal, gets filed, or whether it's the monthly statement being prepared by the bookkeeper. The senior accountant is that individual who oversees that. And that may be in a small firm, a partner or owner. In the larger firms, it may not be. Many firms today are using outsourcing because of the difficulty in finding good people. And I want to talk about this. The the struggle to get good people is that they're sending their compliance work, whether it's the bookkeeping, basic audit work, those types of things, to an offshore firm to do the back end compliance work. But that work needs to, at that point, come back into the firm. And to answer that question would fall into the owner or senior manager's role. So when you talk about the leadership, if we want to attract good people to our accounting firm, what is it that your accounting firm does? Why do your employees stay? Do you know why your employees stay? And we've got to figure that out or find that out. But if it's one of these, are you a communicator? You're building trust. Um, what part of that goes on? So one of these 5 things here, but it's more than just that. Of course, when we do that, it is, why would they want to choose your firm? And it comes back to leadership. Your empathy, you empower people, they have room for growth. And really what needs to happen is that if that's part of your marketing piece for your firm, it's also part of the marketing piece to attract good people to your firm. And these are the things that the reason that they came needs to be the same reason that they stay. Because saying this is what we do and this is what we do, and when they arrive to the firm and they start to work and we go, oh my goodness, what is it that, this isn't what was advertised. This isn't what I was sold. So if we're micromanaging, if we're not giving people an opportunity to share their thoughts and to help you as a leader take feedback and focus on what really is what the firm wants. And I want to share a topic, and I've written this many times in my blogs and talked about it in other events, are the 10-minute huddle and the importance of the 10-minute huddle. And I put that in my last blog post on the CPA Business Coach website. And really getting your team together for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, twice a week, where you sit in the room. And I do this, by the way, and I know it works because when I'm facilitating groups of business leaders and we're sharing ideas and solving problems, that it's important that everybody has the opportunity to say what's on their mind or what's going. But in the 10-minute huddle, you go around the room, whether it's clockwise, counterclockwise, however you decide to do it, but it can't be the same person going first every time you meet. And you ask that person to take a minute to 2 minutes to say what they're working on and what struggles they're having. In other words, I'm working on this week and I'm having this problem doing this with this client, and it has me behind in my other work. Well, being a good leader, for that employee to be able to say that and you to be able to want to help to ask them, um, how does that work and how does that make them feel? Because you're listening. But the real juice in this is when that accountant employee says, I'm struggling solving this tax issue or this for this client, odds are that one of the other team members at the table says, oh, I've had solved that problem before, or this is how you solve that problem. Would you like some help or whatever? So it builds the team spirit. Um, with the team spirit that you have, that will go on, plus the employee then learns and knows that the team support is there. The other nugget within this is that it helps hold everybody accountable. Because if you keep coming to the bi-weekly or weekly, or pardon me, the weekly or twice a week 10-minute huddle, if they keep coming with the same issue or the same problem, what is it that they aren't doing? What do they need help with? Or, heaven forbid, is it time to move them along? And time to move them along, nicely said, is to give these people an opportunity to go and work somewhere else where they'll feel part of whatever it is that's inside of here. And that's the hard part of a business. And especially with the current shortage that we have in the accounting field is, oh my God, I can't let them go. We'll just be down one more person. But when you look at the effectiveness of that you've lost in your time and lost with your own productivity, that solving that problem, finding out why you have a treadmill in your business or why people come and why people leave, if you can't solve that, that's just going to be a problem that's going to keep festering. So that's what I mean by coming out of being just strictly an accountant and cranking out the work, but actually getting your hands in and wrapped around the soft side of the business. So that's really, where we are with this today in terms of doing that. Now, so there's a couple of ways that you can reach me, and I'm going to put it in the chat as well. If you want to book a time to speak with me, I've put it in here, and you can copy. It may or may not come out because of it's gone to my YouTube channel, pardon me, and it's not gone to my LinkedIn channel. But if you would like to email me at paul@paulroy.ca, I'd be more than happy to send you my time trade link. This link is too long when we put that out, and that I would be able to go through that employee assessment process where you can drop me a note and saying, I'd like to do an assessment of this for my firm, and please reach out to me, Paul, and we'll make sure that that happens. And of course, my 7,600 followers that have access to my Paul Roy page or my CPA business coach page with my partners, Doug and Scott, that we can help you do that. But it all starts with a conversation and acknowledging that becoming a better leader, understanding who our ideal clients are and who we can serve, and especially understanding why would an employee pick us over any other firm. And it's going to boil down to your leadership style and how you offer it. Because people work for people that they know, like, and trust. And the third choice of people on where they go to work is a paycheck. It's where they can feel value and they feel that they would add value to the company and also to have, looking for the right word here, they feel fulfilled with their job and proud to be part of your firm. So that's it. Feel free to reach out to me and drop a note in my message box, and I'll see that I get you the information and we can get you geared up to do that team assessment. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.